Anyone? No? Okay, no issues. Because if you have because we used to conduct it as a practical session, because every time when we are describing about plant protection equipment, if you can see it clearly in front of you, it will be easy for you to understand what we are discussing. So that's why I requested you to keep a sprayer in hand if you have one at home. Okay. The last class we discussed about dusters. Uh, just a minute. Visible presentation.
Sir.
So last class we discussed about dusters. What are the parts of a duster? Typical duster: a hopper, an agitator inside it, a metering mechanism to control the flow of dust, then a delivery tube, and a fan or bellow to air, provide the flow of air. So we have seen the parts of a duster. Now we will see actually the dusters are divided into two: manually operated and power operated dusters. First, we will see manually operated dusters where no power is involved. The first one is bellows duster. Uh, we discussed what is a bellow day before yesterday. Okay, I will show you a bellows duster here. It is pretty easy kind of thing. See, this is a container. Here we have a plastic, leather, or any kind of flexible kind of material, and we will open this lid. Just a minute. We will open this lid, pour dust into it, and we can press it. Once we press it, this is kind of bellow. This is kind of a bellow. Once we press it, the dust inside this will be flowed flow through this delivery hose through this end. So this is a very simple mechanism of dusting. Very simple mechanism. This is another kind of dusting wherein here we have the opening. We will fill this bellow with the dust. Once we press it, this is why I told you a bellow is a kind of thing which we normally see it in cycle bells and all. നമ്മൾ സാധാരണ സൈക്കിളിൽ കാണുന്ന ആ ഞെക്കുന്ന ബെല്ലിന്റെ shape. So it's almost all resembles like this. Once you press it, the dust will be forced through this delivery hose. Another kind of, actually this is not a bellows duster. This is another kind of duster. We can call it as a plunger duster. Here you can see the opening. We will fill the dust into it. we will, we will fill the dust into it, and this is a kind of a cycle pump kind of thing. Once you pull this piston here, this is the cylinder, this is the piston, just like a cycle pump that you are all seen. So once you pull this piston, the dust will be sucked into this cylinder, and once we press the piston back, the dust will be forced into it, and there will be a small valve over here, so that once you press the piston back, this valve will close, and the dust will be flowing only through this delivery tube. So this is a kind of duster called a plunger duster. It's actually not a bellows duster. So in bellows duster, it is made of either leather, rubber, or plastic, and dust is filled inside the bellows or sometimes in a separate container. And once we press the bellow, an air current is generated and the dust is forced through an opening. This is a simple mechanism. So that is bellows duster. This is another kind of bellows duster where you can fill the dust inside it. Just press this rubber bubble. It will generate enough air pressure, and the dust will be pressurized through this delivery nose. This is another kind of plunger duster. Dust will be stored over here. This is a cylinder. This is a piston. Once you pull out the piston, the dust from this container will be carried into this piston, and once the piston is pressed, the dust will be forced through it. There will be valve over here, so once you press the piston, the valve will get closed and the dust will flow only through this delivery hose. Then the next is rotary dusters. It's also called as crank dusters or fan dusters, fan type dusters, crank dusters or fan type dusters. This is what we discussed yesterday when we discussed various parts of a duster. We discussed about this. See, this is we told it is cranking. Rotating this lever is called as cranking. That's why it is called as crank dusters. Since it is having a fan mechanism, see, you can see a fan, then it is called as, so it is called as a fan type duster. So it's also called as crank dusters or fan type dusters, rotary dusters. And you are seeing two kinds of photographs in it. One is here, see, this is belly mounted. That means it is carried on the belly of the operator. നമ്മുടെ നെഞ്ചത്തോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ വയറ്റത്തോ ആണ് ഇത് ഇരിക്കുക. This kind of rotary duster is like that, belly or mounted on a belly. Here there is, this one is mounted on the shoulder. നമ്മുടെ തോളത്ത് തൂക്കിയിടുന്ന പോലെയാണ്. It's not, that will be carried on the side of the body. നമ്മുടെ സൈഡിൽ പിടിപ്പിക്കുകയാണ്, അല്ലാതെ ഫ്രണ്ടിൽ ഇങ്ങനെ ബാഗ്, നിങ്ങൾ ചിലർ ബാഗ് ഒക്കെ തൂക്കിയിടുന്ന പോലെ ഫ്രണ്ടിൽ ബാഗ് തൂക്കിയിടുന്ന പോലെ അല്ല അത്. ചിലര് സൈഡിൽ ബാഗ് തൂക്കിയിടുന്ന കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ടാവും. The same manner this duster will be slung on one side of the body and we will operate it. So that's why we have two kinds. It can be mounted on shoulder or on the belly. So this one is shoulder mounted and this one is belly mounted. Belly mounted, this is the picture which you have seen. Okay. It consists of a blower with a gearbox and a hopper. This is, I will show you here this picture. This is the blower, blowing mechanism. The fan will generate the airflow, that's the blower, and this blower works by cranking this lever. And in order to operate the fan smoothly, we have a gear mechanism over here on this part. Here we have a gear mechanism, and the hopper part is the part wherein we store the dust. So rotating the crank generates air current which draws the dust from the hopper and discharges through the delivery hose. That we have discussed. Once you rotate the crank, the lever, the fan will rotate. The fan will generate an air current. That air current will suck the dust from this hopper, and it will be carried through the suction pipe and it will be delivered through the delivery hose. So this is a delivery. This is a rotary duster, and we discussed about metering mechanism. That metering mechanism controls the flow of the dust. Here I have shown you this metering mechanism. Okay. Then we have a knapsack duster. Do you know the literal meaning of dictionary meaning of knapsack? What does a knapsack mean? No one? Have you heard about knapsack bags? നമ്മൾ സാധാരണ ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്ന ബാഗ്സ്, the bags which are hung on your shoulders, the school bags that you see, it's a kind of knapsack bag. All the children that carry that school bags, there will be two straps. It will be strung on your backside. So all those equipments which are carried on the back and which are strung on the shoulders, that is, they are called as knapsack. The knapsack, the literal meaning is which is hung on your back. So this is a knapsack duster. It is called so because it is hung on the backside of the operator. Here what we have is, we have a bellow over here. this knapsack duster will be carried on the back of the operator, and the operator will operate the lever. The operator will operate the lever. Once he operates the lever, this bag, this bellow will operate, and this bellow will generate enough air current to carry the dust. Here you can see another mechanism. This is the lever. Once you operate the lever, this bellow will work, and this bellow will generate enough air current to carry the dust through this. So this is a knapsack duster wherein we have a bellow mechanism to carry the to generate the air current. This is another picture of bellows duster. So duster, it is classified into manual and power operated. Up till now, we have discussed about bellows duster, rotary duster, knapsack duster, etc. Then we discuss about power operated duster. Here, instead of the manual power which we generate, here the air current is generated by engines. Here you can see, here the person is, this is a kind of a knapsack duster because the person is carrying it, but this is power operated. See, you can see an engine over here. This is a petrol engine. Once this petrol engine is started, here there is a fan rotating, and this fan will generate air current. That air current will be passed through this delivery hose. Here, this is the hopper or the tank which receives the dust. The dust will flow through this feeding mechanism, and once it reaches over here, because of the strong air current generated by the engine, the dust will be flown, forced out through this uh, delivery hose. So this is with respect to dusters. Are you clear? Any confusion with respect to dusters? So, okay, this is a simple kind of thing that you can easily understand. There is nothing complicated in this. Now we will move into, before moving into sprayers, we will just see the disadvantages of dusting that we have seen when we discussed about dust formulation. One thing is drift, which can lead to pollution. Second one is low efficiency because dust can easily dislodge from the leaf surface. അതിന്റെ ഇപ്പൊ അവർ സ്പ്രേ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. Just a minute. Okay, I'm trying to show you one or two kind of sprayers, but the sprayer which we have, it is filled with pesticide. That's why I'm discussing that. Okay. So it can lead to drift, low efficiency, because if once you dust and if there is a strong wind, even if the dust falls over the leaf surface, it can dislodge from the leaf surface. So it is very poor efficacy, and the operator is exposed to the cloud of the dust pesticide. See, we have seen this kind of operation. So this entire area will be filled with the insecticide dust, and the operator without any mask or gloves or anything, he is working and he will be exposed to all pesticide dust. So it is extremely toxic to the operator, but we have certain advantages that it is useful in water scarce areas, and another advantage is that it has more coverage. You can see a dust like this. When you operate this, it covers a large area, unlike a sprayer. If you have seen a sprayer, it has a length of hardly 60 centimeters, and it will cover hardly an area of 30 to 60 centimeters. Here you can see it covers several meters. So it is having more coverage, hence the labor requirement is low, because with a single movement, he can cover large area, so the labor requirement is low. And since we are using dust, it is light in weight compared to a sprayer. If you are carrying a sprayer, you are carrying huge weight on your shoulder. So compared to dust and water spray, it is lightweight in operation. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of dusting. Then coming to spraying, the major thing what we does while we go for a spraying is that we mix the pesticide with water. We call it a spray fluid, the fluid which we are going to spray. And during the spraying operation, we break down the water into the spray or the spray fluid into very fine droplets. And the purpose of breaking down this spray fluid into very fine droplets is to ensure uniform distribution, so that the thing can be evenly distributed in the crop canopy, and also that once the size of the droplets decreases, its efficiency increases. So the purpose of spraying or a spraying equipment is to break down the spray fluid into very fine droplets. And for that breaking down of spray fluid into very fine droplets, we employ atomization. In atomization, what we do is we force the spray fluid, we pressurize the spray fluid through a nozzle. We generate a high velocity airstream, and because of the high velocity airstream, the spray fluid will be forced through a nozzle, and during that process, the spray fluid will be broken down into very fine droplets. So we force the spray fluid into through a nozzle into a high velocity airstream, and during that process, the spray fluid will be atomized and broken down into very fine droplets. And this atomization can be hydraulic or pneumatic. I will discuss what is hydraulic and pneumatic. Actually, that is the classification of different kinds of sprays, or some kind of sprayers are hydraulic, some kind of sprayers are pneumatic. Uh, have you seen a small sprayer that we use in barber shops and all? You know, barber shop use in the hand operated ones. Yes, you can see I'm holding a hand operated sprayer like this. If you can, if you see my video, you can see this kind of one. This is a hydraulic sprayer. In this hydraulic sprayer, this is called as a hydraulic sprayer because once we are pressing it, then only the water comes. Once you stop pressing this lever, the water stops coming. So once you press that lever, it carries the water into it. It is forced through this, and here we have a nozzle at the tip, and at the nozzle it gets broken down into very fine droplets. That means the pressure is generated by the spray fluid itself, by the water itself. But in pneumatic kind of thing, you have seen in certain kind of sprayers, it will have a piston just like a cycle pump, and you will first fill the tank with air. You first pour the spray fluid into it, and then you will fill the tank with air, and the tank will be completely pressurized with the air you have pumped in, and then you carry out spraying. Have you ever seen that kind of a sprayer? At least in പഴയ കുറ്റിപ്പമ്പ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന സാധനം. Yes. So that kind of sprayers is called as pneumatic sprayer. I will show you a pneumatic sprayer, because here we are not actually pressurizing the water as such, directly applying pressure on the water. What we are doing is we create an air pressure inside the tank, and that air is forcing the liquid through the nozzle. That's why it is called as pneumatic. Here the continuous operation of this lever is not needed. In a hydraulic pump, in a hydraulic sprayer kind of spraying, we need to continuously operate this lever. because once you stop it, the pressure on water is released, water won't come. But in pneumatic, we will generate enough air pressure so that a spray can be continued for a longer time, so that as long as air pressure is there in that, it will continue spraying. So that's the difference between hydraulic and pneumatic sprayers. And depending upon the size of the droplet, the spray type is classified into several classes. The first one is very coarse spray. Very coarse spray. Coarse sprays mean വലിയ തുള്ളികളായിരിക്കും, വളരെ വലിയ water droplets ആയിരിക്കും, will be large sized water droplets, and the droplet size will be greater than 500 microns. Then we have a class of coarse spray wherein the droplet size is 400 to 500 micron. And you must understand that as the droplet size decreases, the efficiency increases. And we have a medium spray wherein the droplet size is 250 to 400 micron. This is the preferred. Fine spray and medium spray is the preferred class of droplet size while we are carrying out a spraying. Fine spray, we have a droplet size of 100 micron to 250 micron. Mist 500 micron to 100 micron. Fog 5 micron to 50 micron, and aerosol 0.1 micron to 5 micron. Hope you might have studied the droplet size of fog, mist, etc. in your meteorology course. Yes or no? I think it was taught to me when we were studying meteorology course in first semester. So we try to go for a fine spray or medium spray. The fine spray is 100 to 250 micron, and medium spray is 250 to 400 micron. So that is the best kind of spray which we can employ it in a field. But there are certain sprays which can generate mist also. So that is also there, but only very few machines are there which can generate mist. And based on the droplet size, we classified the spraying. Another way of classification of spraying is the total volume of spray fluid liquid for a unit area. That means the quantity of water required to cover a unit area. So we can classify it into three. Remember, this is an extremely important part. Remember this. We have high volume spray. This high volume spray requires 400 to 1000 liters per hectare. Normally we say it as 500 liters per hectare. That means if you have a high volume sprayer, different sprayers are classified into high volume, low volume, and ultra low volume sprayers. If you have a high volume sprayer, then you will need around 500 liters of water to spray an area of 2.5 hectares. So what is the, how many acres constitute hectare, 1 hectare? 2.5. So what will be the quantity? Consider 500 liters of water is needed for covering 1 hectare of area. What will be the quantity required for 1 acre of area? Water required for spraying 1 acre of area? I told you high volume. Yes, 200. Correct. So remember this calculation because it will be needed during your practical class. So the normal high volume sprayer has a droplet size of generates a spray which has a droplet size of 200 to 400 micron. 250 to 400 is medium spray, and 200 to 250 it will come fine spray. So it comes high volume sprays comes under the category of fine and medium sprays. Okay, that's with respect to high volume spray. Then we have low volume spray. In low volume spray, that kind of sprayers can complete that or cover an hectare of area with only 12 to 125 liters of water. Usually it is around 100 liters of water. So in low volume, that's why it is called as low volume. The volume requirement of spray fluid is low. It's almost about 1/3 requirement. So it's about 100 to 125 liters only is needed for a hectare of area. and the droplet size is 70 to 150 micron. 70 to 150 micron, mostly it comes under the mist category. 50 to 100 is in the mist category. So this is extremely fine droplet, low volume. Then we have another kind of spraying equipment called as ultra low volume spray. Here in ultra low volume spray, we need only 5 liters of water to cover a hectare of area. And the droplet size is extremely small, that is 5 to 25 micron. That will be mostly aerosol kind of thing. For fog, aerosol or fog, both category will come. So ultra low volume spray, very low quantity of spray fluid is required, and the droplet size is very small, that is 5 to 25 micron. Can someone tell which is the machine used for having can be classified as a ultra low volume spray? Any guess? ആർക്കെങ്കിലും ഒന്ന് ഒരു വൈൽഡ് ഗസ് അടിക്കാവോ? എന്തായിരിക്കും ഒരു അൾട്രാ ലോ വോളിയം ഇത്രയും വെള്ളം കുറച്ച് സ്പ്രേ ചെയ്യാവുന്നത് ഏത് എന്നൊന്ന് പറയാമോ? ഒരു ഊഹം പറയടോ. No, no one. Aerial spraying using helicopters. If you are using a helicopter based spray, it is usually ultra low volume spray. It needs only very low quantity of water and the droplet size will be extremely small. Don't think about the drones which nowadays are used by farmers. Nowadays drones are widely used by farmers to spray. But these drones doesn't fall under the ultra low volume category. It falls under the low volume category. Roughly a drone requires about 50 liters of water for spraying 1 hectare of area. 50 liters. So it falls under ultra low volume category. No, low volume category. It doesn't fall under ultra low volume category. Ultra low volume, it is mostly helicopter based sprays. We have a few handheld ultra low volume sprays also that we will show you later in the practical class. And coming to a typical sprayer, a typical sprayer consists, I will show the parts and then I will explain. Just a minute. Okay. This is a kind of normal knapsack sprayer which we see. In that knapsack sprayer, you will have a tank wherein we store the spray fluid or the pesticide solution. Then we have a pump. This pump will inside that pump we will have a cylinder. That means a piston will be there. Then there will be a cylinder, just like a cycle pump. Cycle pump has a cylinder and a piston. This is the piston and this is the cylinder which we can move up and down. And then we will have a delivery hose. Usually there is a small mistake in this picture. This delivery hose will be usually connected over here. So there will be a delivery hose, and this delivery hose will connect to an iron rod, and that iron rod is called as lance, L-A-N-C, lance. The delivery hose will be connected to a lance, and at the base of the lance we have a control mechanism. We call it as trigger or cut-off device. Have you seen all these things in a sprayer? I have brought a sprayer. Just a minute. Can you see my video? Yes or no? Yes. Can you see this part? This is the trigger or cutoff device, wherein if you press this, it will open this spray fluid to this spray lance. You can see this metal rod. This is the spray lance. At the tip of the lance, we have a nozzle. What you see it over here, this is a nozzle. We can remove this nozzle. See, this is the nozzle. This is the part. This is the part which actually atomizes. Actually, if you see this one, up to this water will be flowing just like in a tube, up to the tip of the lens. Water will be flow through. Water will be flowing through this just like what flows through a hose. Once it reaches the nozzle, this is the part which atomizes, breaks the water into very fine droplets. This is nozzle. Okay. We will see all these things clearly in our practical class, but for your clear understanding you can if you have one or two spray with you, you can see that. So this is the basic parts of a sprayer. Sometimes we will have a pressure gauge also attached to. Usually a farmer doesn't need a pressure gauge, but for experimental purposes we will attach a pressure gauge over here, because that is for knowing the pressure at which we are spraying. So we have a parts of a typical sprayer is a tank. That is the basic thing. The tank is a built-in or separate container. Here it is a built-in tank. That means the sprayer has the tank along with that. But there are certain kind of sprayers where there is no built-in tank. We can mix the pesticide solution in a bucket. Any normal bucket will do, and that will serve as the container. That is the separate container. We will discuss those kind of sprayers. So it in a built-in or separate tank container, and it can be made of metal or plastic, thick polyethylene. Usually the metal tanks were the one which was widely used for about 2000 up to that. But later on, nowadays farmers prefer to go for plastic kind of sprayers. Whatever the kind of sprays which you normally see in your household is plastic containers. And the capacity ranges from 1 liter to 25 liters, the tank capacity. Normally the capacity doesn't go beyond 15 or 16 liters, because carrying 25 liters is extremely difficult, especially if you have an inbuilt tank. Then we have an agitator, just like a duster. We have an agitator inside the tank to mix the spray fluid properly, especially with respect to wettable powder formulations and all, water dispersible granule, wettable powder, etc. Where there is a chance of settling of the pesticide particles, we have an agitator which will mix the pesticide with the water. So it prevents the settling of the insecticide. I can't show you in this picture. There will be an agitator over here actually, that I will show you when you come for the practicals. Then we have filters to prevent dirt from clogging the filters. Here, uh, this kind of dusters does not have, but sprayers does not have. I will show a kind of sprayer. Yes, this is a kind of knapsack sprayer wherein if you, this is the opening. Once you open this, you will have a strain or അരിപ്പ ഉണ്ടാവും ഇതിൻ്റെ അകത്ത്. If you have seen a kind of sprayer like this, so that it will screen out or filter out all the dust particles. Otherwise, what will happen is that this dust particles will clog the nozzle. So here, that is the way that we normally do. One here, can you see? You can see the strainer over here. ഇവിടെ ഒരു അരിപ്പ ഉണ്ടാവും. And here in this kind of the normal spray which we use here, what we'll do is here will be, this is the inlet opening. Through at this inlet opening, we will keep a funnel, and this funnel will have a filtering mechanism. That's the way we normally carry out the spray. Then we have pump that we have discussed. In certain engine operated sprayers, we will have an engine as a power source. But no, most of the sprayers are manual, but nowadays engine operated sprayers are becoming more and more popular. So we will have a pump, we will have a power source. I told you about the pressure gauge. Then we will have the valves, hose, just a minute, the spray lines that we have discussed, cutoff device to control the flow of the fluid, booms. I will show you a picture that just a minute. So spray lines, I have told you, this is a brass tube, a metal tube, usually 90 centimeters long. but sometimes it's not 90, it is 60, between 60 and 90 centimeters long with nozzle at the end that I have shown to you. Then we have a cut-off device that I have shown you. Then boom, I will show you. In boom, what means instead of a single nozzle, we can attach too many nozzles. Number of nozzles attached in to a single lens, that is called as a boom. I will show the picture, then you can understand. Then we have the nozzle. Actually, the nozzle is the part which convert the spray fluid into droplets. And have you studied about different kind of nozzles in agronomy, especially in weed science? Yes. So have you studied about hollow cone nozzle? Yes or no? Hollow cone nozzle? Yes. So the hollow cone nozzle is the one which is commonly used for spraying insecticides and fungicide. So a sprayer will have a tank, then we have an agitator inside the tank. We have an inlet for the tank, and that inlet usually will be fitted with a filter. We have a pump for generating the pressure. Sometimes instead of a pump, we can have a power source for generating the pressure. A pressure gauge, it's not a common thing. Then we have a valve to control the flow of water. Then we have an hose, that delivery hose that I have shown you. Then lance, cutoff device, booms, and nozzle. I'll show the boom. See, this is the boom. See, this is a tractor operated sprayer. This is an power will be generated by the engine itself, tractor engine itself. And see this is an entire road, and this road will be having numerous nozzles. What all them? One, two, three, four, five. All these are nozzles. And this iron rod which carries all these nozzles are called as boom. Instead of a single nozzle, there will be numerous nozzles attached to it. That is called as boom. Coming to the next part, that is nozzle. Just watch my video. Can you see this nozzle clearly? Yes. And I am holding it like this. This is the tip, and this is the part which we are attaching to the lens. Uh, this is the tip through which the spray comes out. You can see it over here. This is the part which we connect to lens. So this is the body of the nozzle. I will remove it. Can you see this? This is a simple tube. This is called as the body of the nozzle. This is the cap which I have removed from that nozzle. See, this is the cap which I have removed from the body of the nozzle. And watch it carefully. From the cap, I am removing 3 parts. At the end, see, I have removed all the parts from this cap, and here we have a plate with a single orifice. I don't know whether it is visible to you. There is a small opening, single opening at the center of this disc. This is a small metal disc with a single opening. This is called as an orifice plate. Don't worry, we will discuss again in the practical class. So this is called as the orifice plate. And then we have a rubber washer. We can call it as a spacer. There is sada rubber washer. We call it as a spacer. And after that, we have a small thing called as swirl plate. I will show you what is the spelling swirl plate. This is a small disc, but this is this disc which actually carries out the atomization operation. How does it atomizes? I will discuss it in the practical class. But this is the part which actually atomizes the spray fluid into droplet. ഒരു ചെറിയ ഡിസ്കാണ്, ഒരു മെറ്റലിന്റെ ഡിസ്കാണ്. But the design of this is what atomizes the spray fluid into very fine droplets. So these are the parts of a nozzle. This is the most critical part. It will have a body that I have shown you. This will have a screw cap that I have shown you. Then swirl plate that I have shown you. Then we have a washer, rubber washer or a spacer. At the end, we have an orifice plate with a single opening at the tip. And what this actually the swirl plate does is it has some slanting holes on the plate and it will rotate. That slanting hole will make the plate to rotate, and during that rotation the spray fluid will be broken down into droplets. Don't worry, I'll show you how the slanting hole in that swirl plate will be looking like and how that plate will be rotating, because we are pressurizing the fluid at extremely high pressure. So once the liquid will be flowing at high pressure through that swirl plate, the swirl plate will rotate and break the fluid into droplets. And we have discussed about hollow cone nozzles. This is the whole nozzle, this is the cap, this is the body, this is the orifice plate that I have shown you, this is the washer, and this is the swirl plate. Okay. Coming to the types of sprayers, just like duster, depending on the power, it is classified into manual or power operated sprayers. Based on the pressure, we can classify it into hydraulic or pneumatic. So that means we have hydraulic sprayers, we have pneumatic sprayers, and these hydraulic sprayers can be manual or power operated. The pneumatic sprayers can be also manual or power operated sprayers. All these things which we have discussed earlier. Coming to the manually operated hydraulic sprayer, this is the first one is the hand syringe or garden syringe. This is typically similar to a bicycle pump which we normally use in our homes. I will show a kind of thing. See, this is a kind of bicycle pump. This is the cylinder. This is the piston. Here we will have our tank which will carry the spray fluid. Once we pull out this piston, the water will be carried into this cylinder. Once we pushes the piston, the water will be forced through this, and here it will be the nozzle, and the nozzle will break the water into very fine droplets, and there will be a valve, just like what we had discussed in the case of duster. So this is just like a bicycle pump, and here consists of a tank, a cylinder or a pump barrel, and a plunger or a piston that we have seen. The spray fluid is drawn on the return stroke of the plunger and ejected during the compression stroke. See, the spray fluid will be drawn when the plunger is pulled, and once we are compressing the piston, the spray fluid will be pressurized and pressurized through this nozzle. And it is mainly used in kitchen gardens. Nowadays it's not that common. Earlier it was very common. Nowadays in kitchen we use not garden syringe or hand syringe, we use small hand sprayers. Then we have bucket sprayer or stirrup pump. Bucket sprayer or stirrup pump. This is also typically similar to a cycle pump. See here, if you doesn't have this delivery hose, the spray lance, the cutoff device and all, this simply looks like a cycle pump. Here we have a cylinder, we have a piston inside that cylinder, and what we will do is this cylinder will be, this is a foot pedal. Foot pedal, nothing more relevance to it. So what we will do is we will take the spray fluid in the container, in a bucket. That I told you, we can have an inbuilt container in a sprayer or a separate container. Here we will take a simple bucket that is a separate container. What we will do is this cylinder, this will be kept inside this bucket, and there will be a small opening with a valve over here. What will happen is once you pull this piston up, the valve opens and the water, the spray fluid, it is inside the bucket containing water. So once you pull the piston up, the valve opens, there will be a vacuum generated in the piston, The water inside the bucket will be sucked into this cylinder. And once you pressurize this piston again, once you compress the piston, the valve at this end will get closed and the water will have only one outlet, that is through this delivery hose, and it will be carried at an extremely high pressure and it will be carried through this. So this is bucket or stirrup pump. Clear with respect to bucket or stirrup pump? Yes or no? Okay. So here we can have one thing, one problem with this bucket or stirrup pump is that we have to operate it continuously, because only at the downstroke only the liquid will be pressurized and pass through this delivery hose. So that means there will be a gap. During the upstroke there won't be any spraying. So that is called a single acting bucket pump. But there are certain bucket pumps wherein, oh no, that picture is not there, wherein we have two cylinders. So that for that, the advantage is that since there are two cylinders, just like a two-stroke engine, at one time when one piston is compressing, the other piston will be moving up, drawing the liquid. When in the other stroke, the other cylinder will be compressed in the compression phase, and the other will be in the releasing or the suction phase. So there will be a continuous flow of liquid, pesticide liquid through it. So that is called as double acting pump. Single acting and double acting. A single cylinder. The picture that I have shown is single acting one. So it will be a discontinuous flow of spray fluid. And in two cylinders, if you have double acting pump, we have a continuous flow of liquid. So it will have a brass pump, a footrest that I have shown you. This is the footrest. This is the brass pump. A hose, delivery hose, there will be a lance, nozzle, etc. The bun will be put in a container, separate container containing the spray fluid, and spray is continuous in double acting and discontinuous in single acting. It can be used for spraying only in small areas. And one major disadvantage is that we need two persons, because one person will be needed to operate this piston and the other person has to carry out the spraying. Hence, it is not that widely used now. So this is what we normally diagram of a bucket or stirrup pump. Then comes knapsack sprayer. This is the most common, one of the most common sprayers used by the farmers. It fits comfortably in the back of the operator. I will show this. I think how many of you might have seen this kind of sprays, at least in picture. Here what we will have is here, yes. See, here we will have a tank. This is the tank is inbuilt. We will fill this with spray fluid. This is the opening through which we fill the spray fluid. We have a strainer to filter out any particles. And here we have a piston. You can see this. This is a piston. This is a cylinder. This cylinder or piston will be operated, and just like a bucket or stirrup pump. Here what is difference is that instead of a separate container, we have an inbuilt container and we have a pump fitted inside it. You can see here it is a double acting pump. You can see two cylinders. One cylinder over here, another cylinder over here. So once this piston is operated, this liquid will be sucked in and the liquid will be pressurized through this delivery hose to this lance, which have a cutoff device and a nozzle. So it fits comfortably on the back of the operator. Tank is usually made of, it is not at all made of metal, because here we are not generating too much pressure. It is not a pneumatic sprayer. It is a hydraulic sprayer. Once you stop the operation of this lever, then spray will stop. So we have to continuously operate the lever. It's a hydraulic sprayer. And we have an agitator provided over here that I will show you in the practical class. Here we will have a small agitator. So what will happen is that once you operate the piston, this agitator will move up and down. That agitator will be, it's a small plastic thing, and it will be attached to the piston. So once the piston moves up and down, it will agitate the water inside the spray tank. And it is the most common used for spraying field crops such as rice, vegetables, etc. Low height, those crops which are having a very lesser height of say up to 1 meter, etc. The usual capacity is 16 liters, but farmers usually fill it with 15 or something liters because it's easy to carry. Some persons fill it with 12 liters. Nowadays, what it is, the farmers, the major problem associated, difficulty associated with the farmer in operating this knapsack sprayer is that we have to continuously operate this lever. Once you stop this lever, the spray won't come. So nowadays we have battery operated knapsack sprays. So what will we do is, we have a rechargeable battery, we can charge that battery, and once the battery is switched on, the battery will power this operation of this piston. So the drudgery for the farmer is decreased. So nowadays battery operated knapsack sprayers are extremely common among farmers. We will show a battery operated sprayer in the practical class. And nowadays some engine operated also. Here is also the spray tank. This is engine. It is also carried over the back. But laborers doesn't prefer this much because the vibration of engine will be felt at your back of the operator. It's not a easy thing to carry an engine at the back because there will be huge vibration. So this is power operated knapsack spray. This is an electric operated. You can see a switch over here. We have a rechargeable mechanism over here. Battery car can be recharged and used for spray. And coming to rocker sprayer, anyone having Aricanut at their home? Adelum വീട്ടിൽ കവുങ്ങുണ്ടോ? Anyone having an Aricanut at your home? Yes. Have you seen spraying operation in your Aricanut plantation? എപ്പോഴെങ്കിലും കവുങ്ങിന് സ്പ്രേ ചെയ്യുന്ന കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ടോ? No. Usually, anyone from Kunnangalam area, Kunnangalam, Palani and area, those areas they might have seen. This is a kind of rocker sprayer. Is a kind of sprayer used for spraying tree crops, because it will reach a height of about 20 feet. The spray has the capacity to reach a height of 20 feet. Here it consists of a pump. You can see this is a rocker sprayer. This is a pump over here. We will show this in the practical. And this is the lever with which we operate this pump. This is a pump. This is the lever with which we operate. Once we operate this pump, this is a suction tube. We have two tubes over here. The tank is not inbuilt. The tank is separate. We will mix the pesticide solution in a bucket, and into this bucket, this suction hose will be dipped. This suction hose, strainer, this will be dipped into the bucket, and during the operation of this piston with this lever, this sucked water will be concentrated in this or stored in this pressure tank. It is called as a pressure tank, wherein the water will be pressurized in this pressure tank, and this pressurized water will be flown through the delivery hose. There is a cutoff device or trigger, lance, and the nozzle. So it consists of a pump, a rocking lever. This is the rocking lever which will be moved forward and backward. Then there is a pressure chamber. This is the pressure chamber where the pressure will be generated. The suction hose with the strainer. This is the suction hose with the strainer and the delivery hose. So the rocking movement of the lever leads to development of pressure inside the pressure chamber. That I told you. Once you move this rocking lever, the pump works. The pressure will be generated inside this pressure chamber. There is no inbuilt tank. There is a separate tank. It can be used for spraying trees up to 10 meter. We have a long hose. It can reach the length of the delivery hose is usually 30 meters. Usually in knapsack sprayer, the length of the delivery hose is 1 meter. But in rocker sprayer, the length is up to 30 meters. This is how we normally operate it. The sprayer will be kept at the bottom. You can see the person operating this lever. You can see this piston and pump. You can see the suction hose with a strainer. This will be dipped in a container containing spray fluid. Once you operate the lever, water will be sucked into this pressure chamber and it will be delivered through this. And you can see a person spraying on trees. Okay. Are you clear with what we are discussing?